All right, everybody, what's happening? I'm with my boy Travis Stoetzel, and we're actually in episode 3 of our little mini series here of Underground Strength Coach Success Stories. Travis is out in Omaha. You can see he's at his gym. He's got all the specialty bars and the barbells lined up, and those of you that have been following me, even for a little bit, you've seen Travis on the Strong Life podcast. He's done articles and interviews and stuff for the underground inner circle. He's got an amazing website, amazing training products. He's a badass. He really lives the code, and this is going to be an awesome episode. And I guess I reached out to you, Travis. I reached out to Melissa and Gags. So, a lot. There's been a lot of coaches come through the cert, several hundred. I think we're near probably 400 or right over 400. But I always I guess I have a nostalgic memory. I remember the day that you and your buddy Joe did the cert, and we're up at the Edison gym. That's the first underground, and I did a quick intro, and then I said, all right, now we're going to do the warm-up. And I remember you were ready to go to work. You took off your sweatshirt and you were just front and center. And to me, I pay attention to that. And I remember I always talk about you could see it in their eyes. I was like, dude, this guy's hungry. He wants to kill it. And that was a unique group. I'm not going to lie. That was a very highly motivated group of coaches that were in there. And the guys that, of course, stand out. It's you, Matt, Ryan Reese, Matt Wachlinski. And but that crew became really renowned. And it was just, I think that whether you came to the cert or not, everybody was going to be great, right? Everybody was going to be great coaches, but your attitudes, your mindset, that was the change. And you traveled, you had to fly out. Ryan Reese flying out from, he's outside of Seattle. He's in Kent, Washington. So, how long have you actually opened a gym kind of right after that cert? You and a partner at the time, you guys are no longer partnered up, but you took action. So how long ago was that?
Let's see. That was 2007, end of 2007.
Wow.
Right into 2008. So, yeah. When we went out there, I just saw the stuff that you're doing. I was like, man, this is exactly what I want to be doing, training these athletes, and that's what I wanted to surround myself with, and I took all that stuff to heart. You always talk about it. I mean, I always tell people it now is you gotta fucking take action. All the information's out there. You just gotta take action on it. So when we got back, we were like, we gotta get this shit going ASAP before somebody else does it, right? Because that's what happens. So we just freaking started searching around, and we weren't looking for the perfect gym location or anything like that. We looked around quite a bit, but then we found a spot where this is gonna do. Let's start getting people in here and doing it, man. So everything after that is just there's really no set plan ever. It's kind of like when I came out to New Jersey for the first time. I was like, fuck it, putting it on this credit card, and I have no money, but I'm going out there. And that was the thing, though, is you're scared to do it, but then once you do it, that's going to keep pushing you ahead, So, you can be scared all you want and let that hold you back, or you can just freaking do it. What's going to happen, The
Harness.
worst thing that's going to happen is you gave it a freaking, run and you failed, and then you but, yeah, man, I'll never forget that weekend, and that was definitely a life-changing weekend. Not only gaining the knowledge from you, but building all these relationships with all these guys around the country, these coaches. They're all freaking great guys, and yeah, I'll never forget that, man.
I think many, I don't not think, but from what I know, every story I've read about a successful person, whether they're an entrepreneur or not, has been their ability to either harness the fear or be crippled by the fear. And you came out, you were training at a big chain gym out in your area in Omaha, and Ryan Reese came out. I remember he was, I think I'm gonna have to like double check with him, but he was like, I can't pay my gym rent. I'm gonna basically be sleeping in my car. I'm a father, and I was like, dude, we need to get you to the cert. We need to get your mind in the right place. We need to just like, it's like you have to immerse yourself in it. And I remember when kind of I made biggest changes in my life was always when I started learning to harness the fear. And I think as an entrepreneur, once you understand that there's stress involved and there's nerve wracking times and there's ups and downs, like it actually you become less stressful because you accept the fact that life, if you're gonna push yourself, you're gonna get punched in the face, by life. So it's like you're facing that, and you've had the ups and downs like any other entrepreneur has, but now you're in your second location, and talk to us about kind of how things are now. You really took everything. You didn't just run a gym, but you have a pretty awesome online following, a membership site. So, what are some of the things that kind of motivated you and inspired to go from the guy at the regular gym, working as I guess, a quote unquote normal trainer, to wanting to share what you do? What is like the mindset behind that?
Well, I guess it was just, I mean, it's my thing. It's what I love to do. I just love being around, just training, love being around sports. And, when I wasn't able to continue on my athletic career, then I just wanted to be in the gym and I wanted to help people, train, the way I was training and, kind of take it to the next level. But it was just kind of one step at a time, man. Starting at the smaller gym, I didn't try to go too big, too fast, and it just kind of pieced it together slowly. And like you mentioned, I'm in my new gym now. I don't have two locations. We just kind of upgraded, so to speak. My first gym was like 1,000 square feet, just garage type gym, and we're in a 3,000 square foot facility now, and that's all the bigger I ever want to get. Like I got buddies that have, like Ryan Reese. I think his place is like 10,000 square feet, bigger. But I
Ryan
know people
Reese.
with like 20,000 square feet gyms that are just like living a nightmare, But I guess what really inspired me is it's kind of like this is my life. Like I'm always reading up on training. I'm thinking about training all the time, and I just want to get people better in training. People, if they're serious about it, I want them to be around, and I want to be able to help them. And that just kind of what drives me. And I guess it branched out online. Similar to you. I mean, you were doing it like in playgrounds in your freaking garage, and then you're taking that information and helping people online. I mean, online here we are talking through Skype. We'll be able to help out a lot of people, through this means, and so that's kind of how that got started with the online. I was just filming my workouts, and people were, getting interested in the type of workouts I was doing and the programming and all that stuff. And so I was like, all right, I need to start, putting this together, getting this out there to help people that can't make it into the gym. And it's just kind of grown from there. And, that it's just kind of back to the lifestyle thing. Like, this is the stuff I love to do. Like, never do I come to the gym and I'm just like, damn, I got to go to work. I'm like, fuck yeah, we're back in the gym. Like, after Christmas, we took a couple days off for New Year's and whatnot. And I was just freaking ready to get back into the gym, get people training again. And I think that's the way it needs to be. And, that just kind of, it drives me every day. Putting people's names up on the boards when they break PRs, and just seeing your athletes compete, and achieve success. That is the freaking awesome stuff. I mean, and I know you feel the same way. Like, when you start a gym like this, it's not about you anymore. It's about like everybody that comes in the gym that you have a chance to affect, and not only their performance in the gym. Obviously, that's huge, but it crosses over into their life, and you see people, achieve success in other areas other than sports and fitness. I mean, fitness, it's kind of the foundation to everything else. Like your mindset, strong body, strong mind, it all freaking comes together. And, that's really what drives me to keep building this thing and, keep reaching out and, helping more people.
Yeah, it's the you're so inspired to show up there. And somebody texted me yesterday, a good friend of mine and somebody I really look up to. He was a state champ wrestler. He was an All-American at junior college and Division III college. And he goes, man, he goes, how are you always so fired up? And then he said, I guess it's because you're so passionate. And I said, absolutely. It's like I couldn't tone it down if I wanted to. And, it's so cliche. And, you hear it all the time, especially now with like all those pictures on Instagram. It's always like, follow your passion, your heart. But it's true because, why? I always just pay attention to time. I'm like, Travis, when were you at the cert? You're like, man, that was like 2008. It's 2015 now. And so that's 6 years, 7 years ago. I feel like, where the hell did that go? Because I feel like I just saw you in the gym for that first time. And, the time goes fast. So I say to myself, well, if not now, then when? I'm 39 now. When is the time to take the action? So I guess, people ask me, how do you get so much done? It's because I'm like afraid of what I won't do and what I won't accomplish and how I will feel. It's like the fear of the negative feelings and the lack of accomplishment. I don't want to go back there. And also the fear of this question that I'm going to ask you, that I have that fear of not succeeding. So when an obstacle arises, I see it as an opportunity. And a lot of people, when they reach out and ask me questions, they're always letting the obstacles kind of boss them around. Yourself as a competitive athlete, you compete in CrossFit competitions and there's a lot of CrossFit type competitions in your area. So you're competing very aggressively. You're running a gym. This is the second location. And you're also, you're married and you got a baby girl. So have there been like obstacles that were this almost a make or break of you that you had to face and overcome?
True. Well, when I first got started off, kind of starting to build the gym when I was in my original location, like I said, when I came back, it was just like go, go, go. It was like night and day. Like I wasn't sleeping. I was like trying to get stuff done on the internet and just start this business. And so there's a big struggle there where I was selfish for a little bit there, and I had to be where I wasn't. My now wife, she was my girlfriend then. Like there was a point where like she was gonna leave me, man. And I was like, holy shit, what am I supposed to do? I'm trying to balance all this stuff and be the best I can be in all areas, and it was definitely a struggle. And I just found my way through it, and there was just I wasn't gonna quit. I was gonna try to make it work, but yeah, definitely struggles. And now with a young daughter at home, 9-month daughter at home, there's definitely struggles still. Balancing all the different stuff. And now, there's more stuff on my plate, but you just got to kind of set certain rules for yourself. Based off of your priorities. So like family's got to be number one up there, but at the same time, you got to make sure you're getting shit done to support your family.
That's right.
So it just really comes down to priorities and not trying to do too much at once. I think towards the end of the year, last year, 2014, like I was super stressed out, super overwhelmed because the gym was just going nuts. More athletes, more people coming in and trying to balance that. And then I had a trainer quit on me. And so I was like, holy shit, like I'm running the gym myself. I got to find another trainer. Like I got all these new people coming in. I got a daughter at home. And in a lot of instances, a lot of people are going to be like, screw this, man. This is too tough. Like I'm just going to quit and, succumb to all these stresses. But that's when you freaking look that shit in the face and you're like, bring that shit on. Like I'm going to take that on. I'm going to succeed. And so I just took out a piece of paper when I was super stressed one day, super overwhelmed, and I was like, these are my priorities right here. Boom, boom, boom. These are going to get done first because I know when I get these done, it's all going to kind of cross over and, you know, help everything else. Can't get everything done, and I think that's what was really killing me towards the end of the year, like mid-December. So I kind of got my shit together, but I was trying to balance too much stuff, and I was like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, and instead of finishing things, I was starting a lot of new things. And then I put one of my buddies referred a book to me, the One Thing.
Yes.
I don't even know who the author is, but I read through that, and I was like, hell yeah, that's totally true. Like, you know, how can you get great stuff done when you're trying to do a lot of stuff? You're just going to get a lot of okay stuff done instead of focusing on one thing. I mean, obviously you can focus on different things, but you just got to hammer in those big things that are going to make a difference on everything else. And so anytime I kind of run into problems and issues with that, you know, that's really kind of how I deal with it. You know, keep that big overall kind of focus, you know, in the back of your mind, and then let your actions kind of follow that, and things will fall into place. But the worst thing you can do is let that shit hold you down and, you know, quit. I see that happen too much with a lot of people. So
yeah, it's when you and I went to Vermont with a group of underground guys. Joe DeSena sent an email. He probably sent it the day after because he was talking to all of us about how he had multiple managers of his general store in Vermont. He's like, man, every time they're there, like it's losing money. It's losing money until he finally got the right person. And he said it took 10 years. So he's like, he wrote that email and he goes, so the business is losing money. He's like, so when do you decide that it's time to just quit, to give up? And then he goes, you never fucking quit. He's like, as soon as you think you're going to quit, you go harder. And Joe is, you know, obviously he's the founder of Spartan. He thinks like a Spartan. Now, certainly there are instances in business where you have to quit something. Probably like when you read that book, The One Thing. Elliot Hulse told me about that book, and I read it. And in the book it says there's actually going to be stress involved when you're getting rid of stuff, because there's chaos involved when you're like, you know, I tell people it's like you build a habit. My father, since I can remember, always left for work at 6 a.m. and always came home at 6 or 7 p.m. So when I cut my 7 p.m. sessions at my new gym, kind of like you, I wanted to spend more time with family. I said, you know what? 7 p.m. is done. And I told that to my dad, and I said, you have to get here now by 6:30, just a half hour change. And I think it threw him for a loop because he was stressed, because since I've been a kid, he's always been doing that like 12, 13-hour workday, and just finishing an hour to 30 minutes early for him threw him for a loop. So I thought that was like, you know, listening to you, it's just that common theme of we get into the habit of doing so much that it's like, damn, you forget how to change. And that's, I think, the same for people who almost do something. They get into the habit of almost finishing, almost starting, and never really crushing it. You know, you got to build momentum in success. So that's interesting to hear. Like, you had a trainer leave on you, and I've been in that situation. And anybody who runs a gym, I think they're all, if they haven't been in that place yet, I mean, it's going to happen. Eventually, they're going to leave. And instead of, kind of like what you said, letting it pull you down and crush you, you turn obstacle. I always say you turn the obstacle into an opportunity. And looking at it is the mindset, it's the ticket. So I asked this one question to Gags, like, was there one big takeaway you got from going to the certification, either that first time or, you know, what was that thing that you came away from, either training or mindset, anything?
It was definitely the fact that I could do this. Like, I could do this myself. I remember going in, and my mindset was like, because I was always in like the Globo gym type atmosphere, and so I had to think. My mindset at the time was like, everything needs to be perfect. Like, all the equipment needs to be like new and shiny, and everything needs to be just, you know, set up professionally and all that stuff. And when I came to your gym, you were freaking running that shit like you wanted to, like you just kind of set stuff up like that. And I was like, this is damn possible. And then that's where the transformation happened in my mindset. I was like, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna start shit up like I want to start it up, and just run the gym. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be brand new. It can, if the passion is there, if the results are there, the people are going to come. The energy is going to be there. The people are going to come. And, I've been in really nice gyms that just feel like shit being in there. Like, you walk in there, and it's just like, there's all this nice equipment. Everything's, like, perfect. But the energy, it's just not right. It's not there. And then you go into these, like, underground-style gyms like yours, Zach. Like, I keep saying, like, the first time I walked into your gym, it was just like, oh, yeah, let's train, man. Like, let's go. Let's lift some weights and shit. And that's honestly, like, my mindset kind of changed the first step I took into your gym. I was like, all right, this is doable, because people just don't. I guess it's just the different environments that they put themselves in. It limits their mindset, and so that's why it's so important to get to stuff like that, to like your certifications, because it will transform your mindset and give you a different vision of like what's possible. And that was really the biggest takeaway. And other than that, it was just fucking take action. Don't wait for the perfect time and all this stuff. And I remember when we got back, one of the things that, like, when you're starting a business, one of the big things that really kind of weigh you down is like all the like the business tax, like, bullshit that you have to deal with. Like, you got to get an EIN number,
right?
Start, you got to create all that stuff, and you can do that stuff. Like, just, you can find people to help you with that. And I remember that was almost kind of one of the limiting factors with that. We were just like, screw that. We'll start rounding people up, they can pay us cash or whatever. And like, we don't have to have like an online payment system or like a check-in system or anything like that. It's just like, let's freaking get this started, and we'll put that other stuff in place as we build.
Right.
That's exactly what we did,
Yep.
So
I used to do that.
One of the biggest takeaways for me.
When I first, when I trained people out of the garage, yeah, it was like check, cash, some people paying PayPal. And then even when I opened that first location for years, probably the first 2-3 years, probably the first 2 years was like the first of the month, there was like cash, there was check. There were some people paying with, I had the online payment, but it was a lot of different stuff. It wasn't perfect, but it was, like what we said earlier, that momentum was building because I took action. Waiting for perfection is not good. And, you and I are both wrestlers, and I was watching a documentary on Edinburgh Wrestling, and they are like a top 10 team. They're very dominant, very physical. They're a small school, and their weight room looked a little bit like the underground. Had all the old hex dumbbells, like unmatching equipment. It's a Division I school. I mean, most Division I schools have brand new, very expensive, big squat racks. Their bumper plates and dumbbells have the logo. And these kids, they said, the weights are the same. Weights are weights. They were embracing it. And what I realized was attitude changes everything. Everybody who's looking for the pretty and the perfect, it's like it spoils you and makes you soft.
Yeah.
I see like how we're very much similar, because like we train and put ourselves in uncomfortable situations to ensure that we don't like get that soft attitude, because that will cripple your success.
It's definitely important. Yeah. Man. And kind of going back to what I was saying, like when you first start out, and you mentioned like chaos, like shit's gonna be all over the place, but obviously over time, I mean, you got to get started and you got to get that momentum building, and then you can start putting the pieces in place, because there's going to be chaos, but then you can start shifting things around and making things a little bit more perfect, but you got to take action first. And so I just wanted to spit that out there as well, because now that we got stuff rolling, obviously there's systems in place and, different things like that, because you don't always want to run a business that's like totally chaotic, and nuts.
Right.
Like, you got to kind of tie things down a little bit, get a system going. Because before, when I first opened my doors, it was just like, come on in, train. Like, just do whatever.
It's how you learn.
Cash, check,
yes.
whatever.
But we all learn that way. You learn by putting yourself kind of in the trenches, as they say, versus you could read all the books you want and do all that shit. It's just like a lot of people I've noticed. You were at one of the earliest certifications, and then back then people were like, I remember you guys never used a thick bar before. We did thick bar deadlifts that day. People weren't used to using odd objects. Today, I've noticed the coaches coming to the cert, they know how to do many of the lifts. They know how to squat or deadlift. But then when it's time to coach, or when it's time to organize a group of mixed athletes, or when it's time to pinpoint why does that person's knees cave in or the background out, or what would you do if they can't squat, they're lost with that. So yeah, you could read the books and understand theory and concept, but it's different when you're in, it's like the difference between, going in your backyard and pretending that you're like an MMA fighter versus, walking out and then they lock the cage behind you. There's kind of like, the playing and the theory, and then there's, hey man, now we got to really live it and do it. So this has been awesome. It's been awesome seeing all the, your evolution. And I have to do this for the other one with Gags as well as yours. I need to dig up some of your older YouTube videos. So for the people listening on iTunes or Stitcher, go to undergroundstrength.tv. I'm going to pull up some of the old training videos. Gags was in the corner of a wrestling room. You guys, I remember videos of you guys training at playgrounds or behind, in that field behind your gym. So we're going to pull that up. And then for the people that are listening, Travis, give them the best website to connect with you on.
Just my personal blog. They can find me there, travisstoetzel.com, or my other website, trainaggressive.com. So either one of those, they can connect with me. They can find me on Facebook, Train Aggressive on Facebook, all that good stuff.
Cool. So Travis, like myself, is very easy to find on the internet, and great guy. And what's the town that your gym is? That considered Omaha, or is it a town inside of the city? Or?
Yes, we're in Omaha, Nebraska. Yep.
Excellent. So it's fitting because it's 10 degrees in New Jersey. It feels like Omaha.
Minus 30 the other day. Minus 30, and usually I don't crank the heat on, but the heat's been on.
It was negative 30 by you? Negative 30?
30 with the wind chill. So it was like the coldest day ever. Like if you were born after a certain date, it's the coldest day of your life.
Oh man, and what's interesting, so for those listening that don't know, I'm from New Jersey. Obviously heard Travis is in Nebraska. Nebraska's getting a lot of New Jersey wrestlers, and they got what's his name? The gold medalist Jordan Burroughs, I think, is the assistant. I'm not sure. I guess that's University of Nebraska.
Yeah.
Right,
yep.
And you got a ranked wrestler there, James Green. He's a Jersey boy. And I think there was another guy. So cool to see some Jersey people heading out your way. Great, dude. So thanks to everybody for listening. Go to undergroundstrength.tv. That's where I'll be linking up show notes, older videos of Travis's first location and even just the outdoor training. And for those of you that want to get to the certification, it is at undergroundstrength.org. Go to the calendar, and that's where you guys will see the dates of the certifications. And right now, I'm mainly holding one-day certifications. I haven't done a 2-day since the fall, so we're doing these kind of intensive ones. It makes it easier for you guys for traveling and whatnot. But I'll be doing kind of both of them, 1 days and 2 days. So again, Travis is at travisstoetzel.com and trainaggressive.com. Thanks, everybody, and keep kicking ass. Peace.